This time on Redefining Impossible, the podcast, we explore the nuanced world of hemophilia care through the eyes of Paul McLaughlin, a clinical specialist physiotherapist who's not only witnessed but also shaped the evolution of care in hemophilia, particularly as it intersects with athleticism and physical activity. From on-demand treatment to advanced prophylaxis, he's seen firsthand how new therapies have transformed lives, enabling feats of physical endurance once deemed unthinkable. Hemophilia severity is determined by factor activity levels, a measurement of how much factor you have in your blood at the time of diagnosis. The more factor you have in your body over time, the better your bleed protection is, which is why many people with hemophilia choose to treat prophylactically. Your doctor can perform measurements to evaluate the factor activity levels in your blood. Learn more about the importance of factor activity levels by talking to your doctor and visiting levelsmatter.com.
My name is Paul McLaughlin. I am a clinical specialist physiotherapist based at the Royal Free Hospital in London. And I've been working in hemophilia for 18 years now. And my work is mainly with adults and older adults living with hemophilia and other bleeding disorders.
Paul's career has been a testament to the dynamic interplay between medical innovation and the expanding ambitions of those living with hemophilia. From on-demand treatment to advanced prophylaxis, he's seen firsthand how new therapies have transformed lives, enabling feats of physical endurance once deemed unthinkable. In the realm of sports, where physical limits are pushed and boundaries are routinely broken, a new type of athlete has emerged: those who have hemophilia and compete at elite levels. These individuals, equipped with determination and modern medical advances, are defying long-held perceptions about their limitations. Gone are the days when a diagnosis of hemophilia confined one to the sidelines, watching others achieve athletic greatness. Today, these athletes run marathons, play soccer, or even engage in mixed martial arts, turning what was once considered impossible into a new reality. Their journeys are not just about physical prowess, but also about pioneering a new understanding of what it means to live with a bleeding disorder. They challenge both the body and the medical community's understanding of hemophilia, expanding the scope of what's achievable. This story of resilience and breakthrough provides a vivid backdrop as we delve into the world of Paul McLaughlin, a physiotherapist who's dedicated nearly 2 decades to helping individuals with hemophilia navigate this challenging yet rewarding landscape.
So I've been in hemophilia a long time, 18 years, and I think athleticism, I suppose, in itself is not unique. I suppose what we're dealing with really now is the novelty of having people with hemophilia pushing the boundaries of pro-athleticism and pro-sport and very high levels of sporting or physical activity that we traditionally haven't seen before.
It's not just the physical aspects that Paul manages, but the holistic challenges that come with higher activity levels in hemophiliacs, a task that involves careful risk management and setting realistic expectations both for the patients and the medical community.
The challenge is risk management and safety at the very sort of basic level if we're talking about bleed and injury. And I think then the challenge also the expectation management, both of us and the people pushing the boundaries, because for many of us, we don't know what people are capable of until we do it.
In his extensive career, Paul has also had to navigate through varied perceptions within the medical community regarding what is safe and advisable for hemophiliacs.
Historically, it's maybe perhaps challenging perceptions as well, and I think, certainly in my experience, I think that's been one of the harder things to work with, has been perhaps not all clinicians think the same, and not all clinicians maybe necessarily agree that people with hemophilia should be doing sporting activities or physical activities or being pro-athletes due to the perceived risk of injury or the perceived risk of bleeding. And I think sometimes that then can be negatively challenging, where people may not feel supported to do what they want to do by virtue of the fact that old ways of thinking or old ways of viewing hemophilia still permeate through the sort of the advice given, or the reticence to advice given, perhaps.
Yet, Paul remains a steadfast advocate for his patients' ambitions, believing in the power of modern treatment to support more active and fulfilling lives.
We want you to live your best life and do this, but we want you to take care when you do this, or we think this is a bit unsafe, or this might be dangerous. And that's based on nothing other than, yes, it was dangerous 40 years ago when treatment wasn't as good. So I think, yeah, there are good challenges and bad challenges, but I think the good challenges are good. They're showing the success of treatment, and the fact that these are things that are going to become more and more every day as we have a generation of kids becoming young adults and becoming adults who will be and should be able to consider a career in pro sport or pro athletics. And yeah, I think it's good as clinicians that we're constantly challenged with that as well.
With his profound expertise, Paul helps his patients navigate the complexities of engaging in high-level sports, blending his deep knowledge of physiotherapy with a practical understanding of hemophilia management.
A bleed is a bleed. Whether or not you're a very athletic person with hemophilia, or a Joe Average with hemophilia who goes to the gym but actually does what would be considered normal or routine types of physical activity. I don't know. I think that acute bleed management or potentiating risk is probably the thing that differentiates the two. Somebody who's highly active and highly sporty against the average person with hemophilia. And I think the challenge, I suppose, is that we don't quite have the sort of research literature to back up some of the advice we're given. We're choosing pieces from sports medicine research literature that fits best with the people we have now with hemophilia.
And as hemophilia care continues to evolve, so too does the role of clinicians, like Paul, who must constantly adapt to new therapies and treatments that push the boundaries of what's possible in hemophilia care.
Going from standard half-life to extended half-life to non-factor therapies has pushed the boundaries of better hemostatic coverage, and I think the landscape of being covered hemostatically has removed the fear issue for some people.
Through Paul McLaughlin's dedicated efforts, we see not just a chronicle of medical progress, but a vibrant narrative of human resilience. His work reminds us of the incredible capacity to overcome, to transform limitations into milestones, and to redefine the very essence of possibility. This has been Redefining Impossible, the podcast, where extraordinary stories inspire us to expand the horizons of our own potential, one challenge at a time. And as we close this segment, we reflect on the profound journey of elite athletes with hemophilia and the transformative support from dedicated professionals like Paul McLaughlin. Their stories are not just tales of personal triumphs, but also beacons for the hemophilia community, showcasing the incredible possibilities that arise when determination meets cutting-edge medical support. Through their endeavors, they redefine the landscape of what can be achieved, inspiring not just those with hemophilia, but all of us, to challenge the perceived limits of our capabilities. This narrative of resilience and innovation continues to evolve, promising even greater achievements in the realms of sports and beyond. Thanks for listening to the 10th and final segment of Redefining Impossible, the podcast. Remember, you can always watch the film Redefining Impossible for free at eliteathleteswithhemophilia.com. And special thanks to Sanofi for sponsoring this segment. I'm Keith Corneluk, and now back to the Bloodstream Podcast.